Welcome or welcome back to WeJan. Today we are here to talk about the Amar Jawan Jyoti, which has been in the news recently and which has been put out and has been merged with the torch at the National War Museum ahead of the Republic Day celebrations. Sources have said that the upkeep of the torch was becoming increasingly difficult. Let's discuss more about it in detail with a guest, Lt.General retired Sanjay Kulkarni. He's defense expert. Thank you so much, sir, for finding out time and joining us here today.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Let me quickly begin by asking you a little about the history of the Amar Jawan Jyoti at India Gate and why has the decision been taken to merge the eternal flame with one at the war memorial?
What happens is, one at the India Gate, that is the Amar Jawan Jyoti, came up after the great India's victory in the 71 war, which led to liberation of Bangladesh, and Bangladesh was created. And since the war ended in December of 1971, and it was rightfully thought then that at the India Gate and Amar Jawan Jyoti, as a tribute to all those who had laid down their lives, a memorial be created. And that's where Amar Jawan Jyoti, with those eternal flames, came up over there. And then it had become a regular, it was one of the events which would take place before the 26th January, and also whenever foreign visitors came, or even within the army, whenever there were some occasions like the Infantry Day, people would go there and lay the wreath. So that was something what was established, and it came up in 1972. You'll be surprised, before that, I used to drive through India Gate, and as children, we would be playing there, and it was always a part of this thing. And there was no Amar Jawan Jyoti. Then it only came up in 1972. However, once the decision was taken for the National War Memorial, which has come up just about 400 meters behind where India Gate stands today, and the National War Memorial came up, and 2019 is there, and a decision being taken that a National War Memorial must be there because for years there was a demand for it. And India Gate is a monument which has names inscribed on it, about 13,000 plus names, dedicated to 90,000 soldiers which participated in the First World War and the Anglo-Afghan War. And therefore, once the war memorial of ours came up, where we have about 26,000 names inscribed on each of these granite tablets in golden letters at the National War Memorial, I think the decision was right, because it is not then the decision taken is that the flame which is at the Amar Jawan Jyoti, which is at India Gate, would merge with the National War Memorial, which has been created behind it. And I thought, as army man, I can definitely tell you, it's not the flame alone. A flame involves it. To others, it might sound it's a flame, but it is a ceremonial thing where it requires to be attended to properly. A whole lot of ceremonial drills are associated with it. And we have a similar kind of drills which would have taken place at India Gate, which were taking place, and also at the National War Memorial. I think it's the right decision, because if the National War Memorial is there, it should be there. And one place, everything is at one place, ceremonial, everything reclaimed by on numerous occasions, and also when dignitaries from the world over come over, and other, more than anything else, I think the names of over 26,000 martyrs is there. Their families come, their children come, their wives, parents, so many of their relatives come. Obviously, they take pride in seeing the name written on the slab. And at that point of time, it's a very solemn occasion over there. You get emotional, somebody. So many things happen over there. And obviously, when you have ceremonies conducted and it's there, it should be at one place, because anybody who comes at the Amar Jawan Jyoti, it would be to lay a wreath. It would be nothing. It has no names of the ones who had laid down their lives since 1947. The names that are there on India Gate are those of the First World War, Anglo. So I thought it was right in a way that it should merge, because it is the structure itself, I understand, is not being removed. It's only the flame that was there has got merged at the National War Memorial. I thought this is perfectly fine. I see nothing wrong in it, and let's presume for a change that a National War Memorial in 1971 existed. let's take, because there was a demand for it in the 60s for a national war memorial, because we've gone through 47, 48 war, we've gone to 62, we've gone to 65. So there was a demand for a national. If it had existed, would the flame have come below India Gate? Definitely not. Definitely not. It would have always been at the war memorial, wherever it was. So to say that, we should not play politics at all. I look at it as a political person. I would not, I'm not part of any political party, but as a veteran, I can tell you that it sounds more, like it, that if there's a national war memorial, the flame, the eternal flame must be there. Now the question comes up on numerous occasions, why not at both the places? Like I hear that let it be there also, and let it be, the sanctity of the Amar Jawan Jyoti at the India Gate would lose its significance, because everybody would be going there. And here it would be just to be seen, yeah, it is there. And it has no names, it is just there, and nobody would go there for replay. I think the sanctity of the flame, the eternal flame, that would only be, in my view, if it is there at the National War Memorial, where beautifully those Veer Chakras, the 4 concentric circles that are made, and each one of them signifying, and the names written on every name written on a granite tablet, right from 1947 till Galwan. So you can well imagine over 26,000. So it's a very a place where one feels attached, a place where one feels emotional, a place where one feels it takes pride, and it's motivating and also inspiring. I think it should be there. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
That also answered my follow-up question, which was, do you think that maintaining one eternal flame made more sense than maintaining 2, which were just 200 meters apart? So that also answered my question.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said. It is. Of course it makes. Because, as I said, it is not the question of flame or the 4 gas burners burning there. It's a very, very, it has a sanctity. It's a war memorial. And even at the Amar Jawan Jyoti, it's an Amar Jawan Jyoti under the India Gate. It has a sanctity. It had a sanctity. And since the National War Memorial has come, rightfully so, it should be at one place. Because having 2 places, 2 kinds of ceremonial parades happening at the same time, it's an inter-services guard which has to be given. Each of these guards will be present here also, and 400 meters behind also. Over here, it's only just to stand there, because nobody is going to be coming there for replaying. Nobody has any, attachment. Yes, but the ones of the World War I, in which there are some British names also. There's also one of the nurses which had participated in the war. Her name is also there. But then it's something which has name, but then, you can be, if your name is there 80 feet up, how would you know what name is there? And so I think the decision taken, in my opinion, is absolutely right. It should be at one place, and that's the National War Memorial, which a decision has been taken, has been created, and we must be giving that sanctity of a National War Memorial at one place, and that's the one which is there today.
You also laid foundation for my next question, which is, what is the collective sense of both the retired and serving military personnel over finally getting a war memorial dedicated to their service after, roughly around 7 decades of independence and 4 major wars?
It's been a long-standing demand.
Yes.
That every country in the world and has a National War Memorial. There are even countries like Russia, where a newly married couple, the first visit it does is to a National War Memorial. The couple goes to the National War Memorial, and thereafter start their life. That's the kind of respect some countries give to the National War Memorial. And I personally would say that every government in power had always been promising. And I thought that under the UPA government also, when under Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, when he was the Raksha Mantri before he became the president, a lot of work had been done. But there was some dilly-dallying for the land, the location, and things of those kind. I think once the government took a decision that yes, National War Memorial will be constructed, it was constructed, and it was constructed in the correct time, 2019, inaugurated, and all ceremonies associated with it are held over there. I think it's a fantastic thing to have happened, and it definitely inspires, motivates not just the ones whose names figure, but all those who go there to see what the ceremonies are all about. What does it involve? The nice murals on the wall that are there, the names that are written there, people over there to tell you what it is like, the trees over there which inspire you to say that yes, here in after all, the Rakshak Chakra that is made over the names of all the Paramveer Chakras, the statues, the busts of them over there. I think all of it. It's a different kind of a feeling that everybody gets. Everybody gets. I think from a small child to a veteran to everybody and anybody who would visit the National War Memorial would be visiting as to a National War Memorial. At India Gate, it would be a visit to, you're going there to eat ice cream also, and you're doing all other activities, or children are playing there, everybody's there, and then you have just gone there and you have come back. So that feeling, I personally see that, moment you step into that, the newly constructed National War Memorial, the feeling is different. And that feeling can only come in a place which is absolutely dedicated and with the eternal flame over there, everything at one place. I think, a demand of long standing, and the government ensured that it's beautifully constructed, beautifully laid out, and nicely. I think anybody and everybody from within the country and outside the country would definitely feel proud to go and lay wreath or pay the obeisance at the National War Memorial.
That also brings us to a very important question: that do you think that political allegations were necessary for this one? What people are saying is that it is an attempt to delink us from a colonial past. So what do you think about it?
See, firstly, as I said, there should be no politics. It's a National War Memorial.
Right.
That's for the Indian Armed Forces. The Indian Armed Forces belong to the country. It does not belong to any party. It's the country's Indian Armed Forces. And therefore, there should be no politics, first and foremost. And nothing obviously, if you have Amar Jawan Jyoti under India Gate, at any point of time, people would ask, don't you have one of your own that you have decided to be a part of a monument that existed and was made? It took 10 years for India Gate to come up, 1921 to 1931. And 1931, then India Gate came up finally. And our own war memorial took a lot of time for it to come up. But the Amar Jawan Jyoti was December 71 and January 72, or the 26th January, the inauguration and wreath. It had a purpose. The Amar Jawan Jyoti had a purpose at that point of time, as quick and as fast as it could be done, to pay respect to those who laid down their lives in 71 war and even before that. But then I think it was more of an ad hocism which had come up at that point of time. And had, as I said earlier, had there been a National War Memorial, I'm sure the flame would not have come under the India Gate canopy. It would have been at the National War Memorial, wherever it would have been. But now that we have a National War Memorial, there should be no politics, nothing of those kind. These are all obviously because the names that are there now in the National War Memorial are of those who have laid down their lives since 1947 till date.
Okay, sir. So there is also a decision to install Netaji's statue at India Gate. So what is the significance of it according to you? And also, do you think that the leader of the INA has finally got his much deserved place and respect with the installation of the statue at India Gate?
See, the statue of, at the canopy earlier, and was that of the king. And when you were at Rashtrapati Bhavan, where the viceroys and the governor general would stay, and if you were at the Ashoka Hall, you would see the king right in front. That was primarily to be able to tell that you are ruling on behalf of the king. And that was the significance of the statue under the canopy. Once the decision was taken that we are independent, and that in 1968 the king's statue was removed from there, there were a lot of discussions as to whose statue should now occupy the space. And since then, there was no statue whatsoever. I think today, when there's a feeling, general feeling amongst the people, is that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's contribution for India's freedom struggle has not been acknowledged. that probably one feels that it is only the the non-violence movement and all associated with it probably made the Britishers leave the country. But even the Prime Minister Attlee also attributed that there was a lot that the Indian National Army, the INA, the Azad Hind Fauj, which was raised by Subhash Chandra Bose, was actually the cause, because it led to mutinies of the British army by then, and that sort of probably made the Britishers uneasy after having almost gone bankrupt in the 1945 in the Second World War. They would not have been able to do much, because the contribution by India in the Second World War for the British was huge. There was no denying the fact. And the Indian National Congress had taken a decision that it would stand by the British at least during the Second World War, which would then subsequently be resulting in India's freedom. But Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in 1943 took a decision that, well, independence can't come so easily just by talks and by in a non-violent. We have to exert. We must get our independence, and we must fight for independence, and not get it on a platter by talking with anybody. So that was his way. And obviously, then the International Congress and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose were definitely on two different wickets, and they were not ideologically on the same page. But now that that feeling, that recognition of the aspect, that general feeling that everybody of your generation and a little before would feel that India has got this independence just by negotiations and things with the British. It isn't so. There's a sizable amount of contribution by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's Azad Hind Fauj, his creation, his national anthem, his own, you could kind the axis of Germany, Japan, someone who had been defeated. And obviously, because of the defeat of this thing, of Germany, Japan in the Second World War, it led to the surrender on the 15th of August 1945, which also led to the closure of the Indian National Army and the whole. But the sizable amount of contribution and the Red Fort trial that thereafter began, and the kind of feeling of uneasiness that had set in the armed forces, though under the British, probably made the Britishers feel that it is time that they left. Otherwise, it would not be possible for them to govern a country like India with the armed forces not in sync or not loyal hereinafter to the British. I think that played a huge role, and we should give honor to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and nothing like his statue coming up now in the canopy, reminding everybody that yes, there was a big contribution of the Indian National Army, what is called the Azad Hind Fauj, in the freedom movement of India.
That'll be all from my side, and thank you so much, sir, for finding out time and joining us here today. Thank you for throwing a light on this very issue and highlighting the main aspects of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
ऐसे ही और वीडियोस देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें विजन को।